let's go ahead and get started. If it lets me. Cool. There we go. All right, guys. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Nicole Ward, and I am a realtor. I've been a realtor since January 2016. I'm an icon agent with my company, which is the top 1% of my company out of over 70,000 agents. I started off as a solo agent in the industry at a couple of different brokerages I've been to, just on my own, doing my own thing. And then 2 years ago, my husband, Dan, quit his corporate job and joined me in full-time real estate. So not only are we running a business together, we have 2 little kids under the age of 2. It's hectic. It's a crazy household. And that's the reason why I figured this class is perfect, because I know there's a lot of people out there like me that probably are feeling the same way that I'm feeling. And that is overwhelmed, stressed, too much on my plate. When I lay my head on the pillow at night, I realized that there was like a list of 10 things that I didn't get done that I wanted to get done, probably closer to 100 things actually. So I'm sure that there's a lot of people on here that can resonate with that, just because it's a very, very common thing. I did serve 8 years in the Air Force, and that's a lot of my background when it comes to organization and time management. It's where I learned a lot of the skill sets that I have today, and how I'm able to give this information to you guys just based off of my own experience and knowledge, moving forward. So I do about 43 transactions a year with my husband, give and take a little bit depending on the year, which, in our area is quite a bit. And, I'm trying to make sure that, as I'm giving you guys this information, it's realistic. Like, I'm not a top agent with a team that's, selling millions and millions and millions of dollars. I'm an average Joe over here, real estate agent. I am a top agent in my company, but, I'm not selling hundreds of houses. I'm doing 43 transactions a year, which is a gross commission income of over 150,000 plus, depending on the price range of the houses that you're selling. So I'm going to move on. All right, let's jump into time management. Time management basics. So some of the things that you need to think about when you're looking at your time and your schedule and things like that is that when you're in a real estate career, it's heavily focused on self-discipline. A lot of people, come into this industry and think, okay, I'm licensed. Where are the people that need to buy or sell? Like, why are people not calling me? And, it comes down to you doing what you need to do for you. When you have a 9-to-5 job, and I say 9 to 5, but I mean any type of job other than running your own business. When you're doing, if you're working at McDonald's, if you're working at Kohl's, if you're an administrative assistant, if you're a teacher, there's a lot of real estate agents that were once teachers. When you go in, when you clock in for the day, you have a set amount of things that you're going to be doing. You probably had training. You probably had, a mentor jumping in and helping you, showing you what you need to do, a task list that you were given. And in the real estate world, there's nothing like that. You have to make that for yourself. And so the big question is, what's the secret sauce to selling real estate? There is no secret sauce to selling real estate, because everybody's secret sauce is different. So the mindset shift of when you're running a real estate business, you're running a business, and you have to create your own schedule. You have to clock in, you have to clock out, you have to set boundaries for yourself and for others. With that comes a ton of freedom and the ability to design your own life. And I don't say this lightly. I say this very, very, very seriously. When you are in a real estate career, whether it be, a listing agent, a buyer's agent, maybe you're working for a builder, when you are in the career and you can make your own schedule, you will experience freedom for probably the very first time in your entire professional career. It's an amazing feeling. Are you going to work 40, 60, 80 hours a week to get it going? Probably in the beginning. I can see that happening. But the purpose and the point of crushing it in the very beginning and setting some standards and designing your schedule the right way, the purpose of that is to give you that design of your life and that freedom and relief in the future. You will notice after we finish this class and you implement some of the things that we're talking about, you're really, really going to notice a shift in the tension that you may be feeling about your career. A lot of people are wondering, where am I going to get my next deal? How am I going to make a paycheck? How am I going to feed my kids? How am I going to pay my mortgage? In the beginning, I can totally see that. And even agents that have sold lots of real estate in the past, there's moments where we get in that lull, right? That roller coaster high. I'm doing 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 deals right now. And in June, I have nothing closing. I have nothing going on. I'm not making a paycheck. And so if you take control of your time and your calendar and use some of the tactics that we're going to talk about and dive deep into in this call, you'll notice that you will feel relief. Your self-esteem is going to go up because you're taking action and you're doing something. And taking that back, taking that control back into your life and implementing it into your business is going to feel amazing. Let me check and make sure I don't have any questions. All right, cool. All right, so some things to consider when you're looking at your schedule. This is the way that I do it. It's obviously not the way that everybody's going to do it, but what I have found is that it works well. And it's a universal standard in this industry that a lot of top agents implement. So 1 hour of time on Sunday evenings. I have kids, I'm not going to lie. Sundays are either open house and working days, or sometimes I schedule it off, do open houses on Saturday, and Sunday is family day. So the last thing I want to do usually is work right before the work week starts on Monday. However, I really feel that it's very important to sit down and make your schedule for the week on Sunday night, because when you wake up Monday morning, you don't want to spend the time planning out everything that you're going to do for the whole week. That time should be done Sunday night before you go to bed, after your kids are in bed. Grab a glass of wine, change into your PJs, open up your computer, and really dive deep into your schedule for the week. Most people don't have a schedule that's fluid or standard every day of every week. Even the people that have second jobs in the real estate career, like the real estate is the second job compared to the career that they're working on. You have a set schedule, but you have other things. You might have a doctor's appointment. You might have to take your dog to the vet. You might have kids that have games. You have a super busy, packed schedule. And so taking a step back and entering into Sunday night time management planning or calendar planning is going to change your life, I promise. So that would be step 1. Step 2, if you have an iPhone, I live by my calendar on my iPhone because I always have my phone in my hand. And let's be for real, we probably all have our phones in our hands at all times. And so I have an iPhone, so I have my iCalendar set up. A lot of people use the Google Calendar app. If you have Android, a lot of people use that. And even people with iPhones, I know, use the Google app versus the iCal app. But make sure that you have a calendar attached to your email address. And maybe you have Outlook, whatever it is, but that calendar is going to be key for you. If you like to have a paper calendar, that's totally okay. But I would say have both. Have your virtual calendar on your phone and your paper calendar that you can carry around with you wherever you may go. Having both calendars is actually better, but at least having the digital calendar that you can update, change, erase, whatever you need to do throughout the days and weeks, hours of each day. That's very, very, very important. Some of the things that you need to have prepared by Sunday night. So this is a business planning thing and not necessarily as much of a time management thing, but lead generating and follow-up activities. Probably most people that are taking this course are trying to take it for 2 reasons. Either they're overwhelmed and they have too much going on and they need to take a step back, take a breather, and plan out some things and plan out their life. Or they don't have enough business going on and they need to figure out what they need to do and how to fill your calendar to get it done. So when I say lead generating activities, and this is an entirely another call, this is another training, another class, and I definitely dive deep into this in the future. But when I say lead generating and follow-up activities, I mean, pick 3 to 4, maybe 5. If open houses is one of your activities and it's a weekend activity, that can be the 5th activity. But pick 3 or 4 lead generating and follow-up activities and know exactly what those consist of. Don't have 10, don't have 15, don't watch classes like this and get 10 more ideas and try to implement all of them. That's going to kill your calendar. It's going to kill your time. Pick 3 or 4 that are good lead generating activities. So what to consider when you're looking at lead generating activities, I'm just going to dive into this slightly. There's the three things. There's a triangle involved with lead generating activities. You've got the time that it takes to complete, how much the activity costs, and the return on investment from the activity. So you have the triangle: time, money, return on investment. So if you don't have a lot of time, but you have a little bit more money, you might be more interested in purchasing leads. Maybe you're purchasing or you're an affiliate with Zillow, or maybe you're purchasing lists for cold calling. Maybe you're spending a lot more money on your sphere and sending out gifts and cards and things like that to your sphere, because you know there's going to be a return there and you're investing your money into your sphere. You don't have as much time. That would be an activity. But maybe you don't have a lot of money, but you have all the time in the world, because you're obviously on this class and we're teaching it right now. You have all the time in the world. So you need to find activities that are low cost, might be more time, sucking, I guess, in a way, but also has a high return on investment. We're always looking for the highest return on investment. There are certain activities that a lot of older brokerages tell their agents to do. And I would suggest trying to jump into 2020, utilize YouTube, Google, talk to other top agents in your area. You can join my masterclass group coaching where you dive into this quite a bit, but really hone down on what those activities are, getting the highest return on investment, and having a list of what those are going to be and how to do them. This is really important when it comes to time management, is knowing exactly what you're going to do during these time blocks and how you're going to carry them out. Next thing, working in your business and on your business. I'm going to jump down to all the people on this call here. Anybody know the difference between working in your business and working on your business? If you do, just jump out and say it. Nobody? Come on, guys. Claudia, you're smiling. You know what it is. No? Okay, that's cool. You do?
I don't know. Are you talking about so working on your business would be like lead generating activities and stuff like that. And then in your business would be like reaping the benefits and meeting clients and all that stuff.
Sort of. You got 50% of it. So working in and working on. So working on your business are all of the activities that you're doing in the background to grow or further your business. So that's working on it. I'm working on my business today. I'm creating my buyer packet. I'm creating my seller packet. I'm scheduling out my social media. I'm doing a lot of those daily tasks or things that I need to do to set up my business to keep it going. And just so you know, if Dan is on this call, my husband, he would disagree with me on the definition of these, but I'm very, very strict on exactly what this is. So that's working on your business, getting things set up, getting them going, growing your business. That's working on it. Working in it and working in the field, that's doing your listing appointments, that's showing homes to buyers, that's having conversations with people, that's networking. Those are two different things. And you will be using a lot of those when you're doing your time management, when you're doing your scheduling. So you will need to schedule time to work in your business, and you will need to schedule time to work on your business. If you're not doing both every week, then one of them's not growing. Either you're not growing your business or you're not showing homes and earning money. So one or the other. So you need to make sure that you know what those two things are and exactly how to apply them to your calendar. And we are going to go through some of those details. So be realistic in your commitments to yourself. This is super, super important. If you pack your schedule full with too many activities in one day or in one amount of time, you're not going to get them done. Time's going to go by. You're going to probably do what I do. And that is, I've got a list of 25 things to do. I don't know where to start. So I'm going to sit here and do nothing and read a book, because I mean, come on, we all get that overwhelmed. Like, we're so overwhelmed. We have so many things to do, and we absolutely just have nowhere to start. We don't know where to start. It's an extremely heavy feeling on your chest. Like you have too many things to do and you just can't get it all done. So when you're looking at your calendar, you need to be 100% realistic in what you're committing to and making sure that you're setting standards for yourself that you can achieve. And this is a little bit of advice that one of my coaches gave me a long time ago. If you give yourself 8 hours to complete a project, you will take 8 hours. You will take 8 hours to complete the project. If you're given 1 hour to complete the project, you will complete it in an hour. I promise you that's the way that it works most of the time. Obviously, there's an exception to that rule, but give yourself the right amount of time to get things done. Be realistic with how long it's going to take to get the project done. And don't give yourself too much time, but don't give yourself too little time. Be realistic so that you can complete your calendar. And when Friday afternoon or Sunday evening comes around and you're taking a look at your calendar for the next week, you truly feel empowered. Like you can do this. You've done it once. I did it this day and I did it this day and I'm going to do it again. Before I jump into the last one, does anybody know how many minutes are in a day? And if I've had this conversation with you before, don't shout it out. So I read a story one time. It was actually, it was in a book. And if none of you have read this book, it's a short read. It's only 3 to 4 hours long. It's 15 time management tips for successful people. And I think I just botched that title, but you can Google 15 tips for time management. It's a great book. I listened to it on Audible. It's really engaging and it's told from a first person point of view. And one of the stories that he told was called 1440. So there's 1440 minutes in a day. And he was an office manager, business owner, and he noticed that a lot of people were always knocking on this door and saying, got a minute? Got a minute? Got a minute? I can't tell you how many times I get a text in a day, at least 5 times a day, from somebody asking me, hey, do you have a quick sec? Or hey, do you have a minute? So what he did was he took a giant poster and he wrote the number 1440 on it and he plastered it to his door. And then when people started to come and knock on his door, it would prompt them to ask, what does 1440 mean? And he would just very briefly say, oh, it's just a reminder to myself that there's only 1440 minutes in a day. And I need to make sure that I'm taking a good accounting and taking advantage of every single minute I have available to me. And what he noticed was that people that would come to talk to him and would be time wasters and not really have something to talk about would say, you know what, it can wait. And he saved those minutes every day. And he found that his time was much more effective to him. So I love that story. I love the number 1440. Think of that when you're going through everything. Think of 1440. That's how many minutes are in a day. And you need to take full advantage of it. All right, last year, be productive, not busy. You can schedule 5 million things for yourself. You can fill up your calendar. You can put, all sorts of different things in there, but that's not being productive. That's just what it says on a piece of paper or on your computer screen. That's making yourself look busy. But what you really need to do is it's the action behind your calendar. When you have something scheduled and you have a time blocked out to do something, starting from that first minute, remember 1440, to the last minute of that time block, you need to be doing what you say you're going to be doing. This jumps back to the last slide when we talked about self-discipline. This career is 150% self-discipline. You will not be successful if you aren't disciplined. Now, there's lots of things in my life that I'm not disciplined about. My room, my bedroom is a mess. There's toys everywhere. There's dishes in my sink. I'm overweight. Let's be honest. That's a self-discipline thing, eating and working out. But when it comes to my career and my business and providing a life for my family, I am very self-disciplined. And in this career, you have to be, or you won't be successful and you will find yourself lagging behind. So keep that in mind. Any questions so far? Cool. All right, I'm jumping into this next one. So this is the meat and potatoes of how we're going to do our calendars. So everyone take note of these items because these are things that you're going to be adding into your calendar. You're going to add some non-negotiable time blocks. What this is your family time, your workout time, your lunch time. If you have a game, if you have a soccer game, a basketball game to go to, if you have kids and you have things to do there, if you have an event that you have to be, if you're teaching a class, those are all non-negotiable times. They're probably not ever the same every week. If you have a job and you work 8 to 4, that's non-negotiable time. You're literally going to put in your calendar that I'm working from 8 to 4 because that time is blocked off. That time is spoken for. For me, some of my non-negotiable time is typically for me between 5 and 7:30 p.m. at night. Now, I know I'm a real estate agent and a lot of people need to see homes, and I'm really lucky because my husband is an agent too. So if I need to give up my family time or my non-negotiable, I know that my husband's going to be home taking over that non-negotiable time with our kids. So I am lucky in that sense. Some of you aren't as lucky and you don't have that, and that's okay. You still want to schedule your non-negotiable time in a few days a week at least, because family is number one. Family is everything. Your family should come before your business. Obviously, we're all going to have to make sacrifices sometimes, but family is non-negotiable time. Maybe you like to get up at 5 a.m. and work out for an hour. That's non-negotiable time. That's going to go in your calendar. If you have dinner plans, if you have a job, all of that is non-negotiable. So on Sunday evenings, when you're pulling up your calendar, you're going to add in your non-negotiable time. And I am going to show you how to do that and how that looks using Google Calendar next. How are we doing on time? Perfect. Okay. Add your daily lead generating and follow-up activities. I am going to dive a little deeper into what this looks like. There's two ways you can do it. You can add a full time block for all of it and just block off like 9 to noon, every day or 4 days a week or whatever it is. Lead generating is where you're going to get your money from. So this is where your biggest time block should be on everything you're doing, is your lead generating and follow-up activities. So when I say you can do it two ways, you can block it off from 9 to noon or whatever your time would be, and then open up your calendar, and put your task list in there of what you're going to do. Remember earlier when I said that you need to know exactly how you're going to do each activity? This would be that time. When you add the time into your calendar, you're going to go into the notes section of that time block, and you're going to make a task list of everything that you need to get done during that time. So, if you're doing 3 lead generating activities, you're going to write out each one of those lead generating activities and specifically how many people you're going to reach out to, what you're going to say, what you're going to do. You're going to have it written out so that when you add it into your calendar, you don't have to take the first half an hour of that time block figuring out what you're going to do. You already know what you're going to do. So time management does take a little prep. And guess what? You can schedule an entire day with yourself and have a business retreat with myself, because I'm running a business and I'm going to have my own business retreat, and I'm going to figure this stuff out so that when next Sunday night comes around and I'm going to plan out my schedule, I already have all of my activities that I can add into every time block. So you're going to add your in and on activities into your calendar. So you will schedule time to work on your business. You're also going to schedule time to work in your business. Now, the question might be, well, I don't know what my showing schedule is going to be like tomorrow. It's a crazy market and houses are selling in 12 hours. So how am I going to schedule my work activities and showing homes if I don't know when they're going to be? The answer to that is going to be flex time. I love flex time. So you're going to have non-negotiables in your calendar, your appointments, your doctor's appointments, your other job, your kids, your family time. You're going to have lots of other lead generating activities you're going to be doing. Pro tip for lead generating activities, do that during the time when you are least likely to have to show a home. Most of the time that's mornings. A lot of people probably do showings in the afternoons and evenings. So spend your lead generating time in the mornings for the most part, if you can. If not, it's going to be late at night. We'll figure that out. We're going to talk about that. Your flex time, this is time that you're going to put in your calendar, that you're going to have it open, but it's still going to be blocked. And so what I mean by that is, let's say your flex time is going to be from 4 to 7 every night, or 5 to 7, or maybe it needs to be a little bit later, 6 to 8, whatever it is. That's your flex time. That's time where you're still going to be working, but you're not going to have a specific task list or item of things that you're going to be doing, because that might be the time when you're doing showings. Now, here's the cool part about flex time. You can change things out. You are not a slave to your schedule. You own your schedule. Remember, you're living your life by design. So if you need to show a home during your lead generating time, what are you going to do? You're going to exchange out that flex time with the lead generating time. And you're going to go right into your calendar. You're going to exchange the times. Your flex time now moves from 10 to noon in the morning. And then your lead generating time shifts up to 6 to 8. So that's what I love about having flex time in your calendar, is that you can fill it and move things around as needed. That's why it's so important to actually schedule flex time into your calendar. The last thing you're going to add to your calendar is your weekly team meeting. Now, most of you probably aren't on a team. I would say my husband and I are a team because we're teammates, but we don't have a team. We don't run a team. However, we still have a weekly team meeting. If you are a solo agent, you should still be having a weekly team meeting. You should still be auditing your business, figuring out what's going on in your pipeline, checking the metrics on your lead generating activities. What's working? What's not working? What do I need to shift? What do I need to move? That's a team meeting. You can do it on Monday mornings. You can do it on Fridays. You can do it Wednesdays. You can do it whatever you want, but you should add an hour or maybe even 2 of time to have a business meeting with yourself. This is really important. You are running a business. You need to have a business meeting. If you don't want to have a business meeting alone, partner with somebody, have an accountability partner who also maybe struggles with having their business team meetings. And you guys can set up a Zoom call or a war room in Zoom and do your business team meetings together, exchange information, talk about each other's metrics, share what's going on, and really just have a meeting with somebody else, even though they're talking about their business and you're talking about yours. But definitely you're going to need to add that team meeting to your calendar. Any questions so far or comments? Let me scroll through. Who do I got going on here? Nothing? All right, cool. I just wanted to throw this out here too. I'm going in depth, and this is a 60-minute crash course. But we really, in my masterclass group coaching, which I will talk about a little bit more at the end here, in my group coaching program, we really dive deep into a lot of this stuff, and we do a lot of workshop style things, along with lead generating. And we talk about time management. We talk about social media. We talk about marketing and branding, and we really dive into a lot of these things. So this is just a very, very, very small portion of what we're going to be doing in the group coaching program. All right. This is cool. Look at this schedule right here. It's so itty bitty. Isn't it cute, guys? This is probably what the majority of your schedules look like. Lots of blank time, lots of blank space. And you think that by scheduling an event, a showing, maybe you're going to a class, you're taking something and putting in your calendar, that you're actually filling up your calendar. But what you're doing is you're leaving unself-disciplined time here and all this little hour here and this little block here. What you want your calendar to look like is this guy over here. How amazing is that calendar? And it looks overwhelming when you look at it. Look at all those colors. Look at everything that's going on. But what they've got here, like this pink, this is sleeping time. This is, I'm going to get my me time. This is my, I'm going to take a shower. I'm going to take a bath. I'm going to, sleep. I'm going to watch TV. I'm going to zone out. I'm not going to think about my business, because if you are on 24 hours a day, you will burn out. So that's me time. If you look closer, which you probably can't, there's lots of little things in there that is scheduled. Lunchtime is scheduled. Flex time is scheduled. Playtime with their kids is scheduled. Waking up, that's scheduled. Working out, that's scheduled. Travel time. This is huge. If you fill your calendar up to the brim with one activity after another activity after another activity, and you don't even schedule a 15-minute break for yourself, which, yes, you need to schedule your break times. That's how serious I'm being about time management. Then you're just going to crash into everything, and you're going to notice that you're taking a lot of time suck by just traveling. Maybe you're driving somewhere, whatever it may be. Maybe you're going to the bathroom, whatever it is, but you need to schedule some break time, travel time, everything else into your calendar. All right, I'm going to jump to the next one because we're going to dive in here. All right, we're looking at scheduling now. So taking a look at your calendars every day. One of my absolute favorite quotes is, if it's not in your calendar, it doesn't exist. If you schedule an appointment and you don't immediately put it in your calendar, I promise you will forget. You're not going to show up. You won't be there. And then, the damaging part will be the day that you don't show up to a listing appointment, and you potentially lose out on a big commission because you didn't show up to a listing appointment because you didn't put it in your calendar. If you don't schedule lunch, it doesn't exist. You don't have a lunch. If you don't schedule workout time, it doesn't exist. I promise you won't do it if it's not there and a constant reminder. So keep that in the back of your mind, tattoo it on your forehead. If it's not in your calendar, it doesn't exist. There should be no blank spaces in your calendar. So that last photo that we looked at with that calendar that was absolutely full, that's what you want your calendar to look like. So when you're sitting down, you got your glass of wine or your beer or whatever it is on Sunday night, and you're looking at your calendar for the week, you are responsible for, and I challenge you to fill every minute of every day in your calendar with an activity. Does it need to be a real estate activity? No, it doesn't. That's what I'm saying here is you need to schedule your off time. You need to schedule your me time, your family time, your shower time. You want it all to be in your schedule. And if you're putting it in your schedule on Sunday evenings, you don't have to worry about it for the rest of the week. A lot of people's schedule change every week. So that's why Sunday evenings is also important. But you can move things around throughout the week. On Monday, you can move your flex time around, you can move things around, but you don't need to add anything that you forgot. So Sunday nights is the time for you to look at your schedule. Maybe you're just copying and pasting things that you did from last week's schedule. You know what I mean? And you're just throwing it into next week's, but you have it done. It's a huge relief. You have a plan, you have a business plan, you have actionable items. It feels good. Don't leave any blank space. I know we talked about this a little bit, write the how behind each activity. So I'm really not going to go into that again, but it's just a reminder that you do need to write down what you're going to be doing during that time. Another one of my favorite quotes: if I say yes to this, what am I saying no to? If somebody is asking you to do something and you are in control of your calendar and you are in control of your time, if you say yes to it, you're saying no to something else. And that might be no to a potential listing appointment. You might be saying no to your lead generation time for the day. So be very careful at who you allow into your life to suck up your time. It's not always sucking up. I mean, a lot of the times what people are asking you to do are really, really good things. But there's also many, many times where somebody's going to be asking you to do something, a get together, a coffee. If you're newer in the industry, you're going to have about 20 lenders reaching out to you, asking you for coffee. Home inspectors, let's get coffee. Title companies, let's get coffee. Be strategic on what appointments you agree to, because when you agree to that, you're going to be saying no to something else. So consider that when you are scheduling with other people in the industry. Fluidity is okay. Swap things around as you go. We did talk about this. I just want to mention it again. It is okay. Set your calendar in stone on Sunday nights. And then when you wake up, it's going to be like cheese, not stone, because you can move it around. You know what I mean? Claudia's laughing at me. I love it. You are going to be able to move your calendar around. It's not in stone anymore. But if you get it set up Sunday, and then you move it around as you go throughout the week, at least you know that you're getting your activities done because you're swapping out one time for another versus deleting time or feeling like you need to add time. Time travel, we did talk about that too. You are going to want to make sure you schedule your travel time to get from A to B or B to C, whatever it may be. Your breaks, your potty breaks, your lunch breaks, schedule it. Okay, so these are screenshots from creating an event on Google Calendar, and this is from my desktop. So I just logged into Google, I opened up Google Calendar, and I took some screenshots of some of the things that they offer you. I love this. If you have iCalendar on your phone, and I'm a huge iPhone fan, if you can't tell, if you have an iCalendar on your phone, it will sync with your iCalendar. And you'll be able to schedule things out in different ways. So you can schedule lead generation time as an event. That's what this is, event details. For location, I just put office. Maybe you're going into the office, maybe you're going to Panera, a coffee shop, or maybe you're working from your home office, whatever you want to put in there. Make sure that right here where it says busy, you are selecting busy. This is really important because then you can't schedule over it. It does give you the option to schedule something as free time. And that is really good for if you're putting something in your calendar as a reminder for yourself for the whole day instead of for a certain time. So like up here, you can check all day and then it takes those time zones out. And that's something that you just need to get done by that day. Like for example, taxes are due on April 15th, right? Maybe you're going to set it as a calendar reminder in your phone. You're going to check all day, taxes due. You don't need a location for that, but you're going to set this right here as free instead of busy. So it shows up on your calendar all day, but it doesn't block off your calendar all day. Right down here, this is what I was talking about having that task list set up. So if you're scheduling lead generation from 9 to 12, from 9 to 9:30, I'm going to do a social media post. I'm going to do my 50, 20, 5, and 1. If none of you know what that is, reach out to me. I will explain to you, and maybe we can do another class all about what that is, because it's life-changing for your sphere. From 9:30 to 10, you're going to do 4 send out cards. That's a half an hour to get 4 cards. You can get it done. I know it seems like a lot. You don't need to make it perfect, right, Claudia? You just need to get it done. So those are really important things. And as you can see, you're breaking it down. So you gave yourself those 3 hours of time. You're going to break down your task list in the notes, and you're going to check them off as you go. Maybe, I don't know if any of you have heard of Asana. That's another thing that we talk about in masterclass that we're going to dive real deep into as well. But if you don't have a task generation software or any type of task management software, look into Trello or Asana. Those are fantastic for things like this and managing your schedule. So even though you're putting things in your calendar, maybe you need task lists for each thing with details on what you're going to do, login information and how you're going to do it, scripts that you're going to put into your cards. Asana is a wonderful program to link up with your calendar for task management. And I'd be happy to do an entirely different class all about Asana and task management. So good stuff there. Over here, so this was a scheduled event. This is another thing that you can use on Google Calendar when you schedule something. Instead of it being an event, you can schedule it as focus time. So it doesn't necessarily have a location or whatever it may be. You can check this box to automatically decline meetings. If somebody sends you a calendar invite and it's during your focus time, you can have it automatically be declined. And same thing down here at the bottom, which you can't see it, you can add your task list of things you need to do. So instead of it being an event, it's focus time. Out of office time, same thing. Maybe that's your non-negotiable family time. You can schedule that as out of office time in your calendar, and it's going to show up as you are out of the office, you are checked out. That's your out of office time. You can schedule your sleeping time as out of office time. You can set a task, which would be like waking up. That's a task at 6 a.m. on April 6th, whatever it may be. That's in your calendar. That's your wake up time. I love using Google Calendar for scheduling all of these things for the week. It's really easy to type in and go. And what the cool thing is you can actually duplicate, said that right. You can duplicate the calendar one week and toss it into next week's calendar. That way you don't have to recreate it every Sunday night. So this is a little prep work up front. You can actually duplicate the individual task that you have for yourself or event, or you can duplicate the whole week and throw it in there. And then you can go into the week and delete the things that don't apply to that week. You can move some times around, whatever it may be. No 2 weeks are probably going to be the same for you as a real estate agent. Your job is to be fluid and movable and be able to move things around. And that's definitely something that you are going to need to be doing. Any questions so far on scheduling these things out in your calendar, making your task lists or anything like that?
So when do you schedule your getting ready time for appointments, like listing appointments?
So that would be working on your business time. It could be working in your business too, I guess. So it depends. If you're working on doing your listing packet and you don't have one ready yet, or you need to update it wherever it may be, that would be working on your business time. But working in your business time is something that you are going to put in your calendar to prepare for a listing appointment. And that's the name of the game for that event, is prepare for a listing appointment. If you need a half an hour to prepare for it, that's working in your business time, and you're going to put it in your calendar as listing prep. And then right here for location, you're just going to type the address of the listing right there so that you can see, and you can easily pull it up in your calendar, and you don't have to search through your text or your phone to find that address that you made the listing appointment for. That's prep time. That's definitely something you're going to add as either an event or focus time, whatever it may be, but you're going to add it to your calendar for sure.
So I have a question sort of about that too.
Sure.
So what about actually like sticking to a schedule? Like for me, I can schedule things all I want, but then it's a matter of like the self-discipline to stick to it. Like the biggest thing for me, I'm not a morning person. If I have something to do, say I know I have my alarm set at 8, I have to be, ready by 9. Most of the time I'm not going to be ready by 9, even if I tell myself I'm going to be. So like, do you have any suggestions on that?
Well, I will say that you are probably like 95% of other real estate agents. I don't know
Yeah.
very many agents that like morning times either. And most of them are late for every event they go to, including me, almost my whole life. I'm always late. It is going to come down to self-discipline. That's probably not the answer that you want to hear. I think what you're asking me for, is there any tips and tricks to doing what I said I was going to do?
Right.
Unfortunately, no. There are no tips and tricks to following what you scheduled yourself to do. All I can say is that if you put it in your schedule and you only have a certain amount of time to do it, it's going to be a decision that you're going to have to make and follow through with it. Now, if you don't want to schedule yourself to work before 9 a.m., don't schedule yourself to work before 9 a.m., especially if you know that you struggle with it. Maybe a good calendar for you is 11 to 7. And that's your work day for you for the most part, minus maybe showings that are a little bit later, or a random event or showing you have to go to in the morning. And you can schedule that one that one morning out for that one day in advance and probably be okay making it for that one time. But if you're not a morning person and you don't want to schedule yourself in the morning, don't, because you're not going to follow through with it, right? So always schedule yourself for what you know you're going to follow through with. And that goes back to being realistic with your commitments and your expectations of yourself.
That makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah. So Ashley said she has a hard time with that too. She said, I schedule myself rewards when I accomplish things on time. Yes, that's a really good idea. Giving yourself a reward is important. And I will say that it's important to do it as you go versus down the road reward. So like if you follow your schedule for the whole week, and you want to give yourself a reward on Saturday for something you did on Monday, that's not quite as rewarding as if you know that you can get your reward the same day. So little rewards are important. And then if you follow your schedule for a whole week, maybe a bigger reward on the weekend is good. But if you need to reward yourself for getting up on time on Monday morning, make sure you get your reward on Monday night or at the end of your workday. Reward yourself that way. 21 days, guys. It takes 21 days to make a habit or to form a habit. If you do it for 21 days in a row, I promise you, it will become a habit and not a struggle anymore. Now, is it still a struggle to get up? Yes. But if you do it for 21 days in a row, your body will get used to it and you'll start to notice that you're naturally waking up earlier. So write that down. 21 days, super important. Schedule rewards and start by not allowing yourself to snooze the alarm. Great advice. If any of you have not read the book 5-Second Rule by Mel Robbins, I highly suggest you reading that along with your time management book that I told you about at the beginning, the 15 secrets to successful time management. I'm totally botching that, but it's 15 something to time management. But then read the 5-Second Rule by Mel Robbins, because absolutely the premises of the 5-Second Rule, it's a really good book. You need to read it to get the full story on it. But if you don't make the decision and follow through with it within 5 seconds, you're not going to follow through with it. So hitting that snooze button in the mornings, you'll hit it 15 times versus if you never hit it and you give yourself 5 seconds to jump out of bed, then you're up and you're going and you're doing it. And even though it's hard and it's a struggle, you will do it. 5-Second Rule, 21 days to form a habit. If you do this for 3 weeks, that's 21 days, just so you guys know. 3 weeks of scheduling this out. All right. We're getting close to our end time here. I've only got 15 minutes left, so there's a few more things I want to talk about. Master your time before it masters you. Most people probably are already being mastered by the time, and they are not the masters of it. That was kind of a botch, but basically what I'm saying is you're letting everything else run your life and you are not in control. A lot of people probably don't like hearing that. I know if somebody told me that I was not in control of my own life, I'd probably want to punch them in the face, because nobody's going to tell me what I'm in control of and what I'm not in control of, especially when I'm running my own business. But I'm telling you the truth. If you do not have your calendar on lockdown with no empty spaces, then you are not in control of your time. All right, more information about me, and then I'm going to unshare screen and open it up to have some more conversation about the things that we talked about. You can go to my website, masterclassforrealtors.com. You can email me. And friend me on Facebook, guys. You can follow my business page, Masterclass, but I'd rather be friends with you on Facebook, and I'd rather converse with you and actually get to know you and who you are and be able to answer questions that way. So my personal Facebook page is @NicoleIsKey. Find me on Facebook.